Hello and welcome to another pipe presentation video. Two interesting Turkish-made block Meerschaum pipes, both in unsmoked condition, both as you can see in the larger size, carved faces on both, different motives a bit, but one of them represents a gentleman with a long church warden pipe in his mouth, and the other one has that sort of a big hat, a large beard, long beard, and details on both really look very nice. So since they are similar in a way, I thought why not do a presentation of them together. So let's start with the first one. So the first one, I didn't move it. As you can see, it sits a bit weird because it bowl is quite tall, or to be exact, his beard is actually very long. So it's not really practical for stands, but as you can see, you can find an angle for it. Just be careful not to damage some of the carving. As you know, these are fairly sensitive, and if you hit them in the wrong place, you can get them damaged. Where should we start? I mean, I already started with the bowl. Let me just detach the stem. It's got a very tall chamber, not the widest, but very tall. This part has been carved from inside, so it's quite demanding if you ask me. I wouldn't even know where to start when carving like this is in question. So I do have a high opinion on anyone who can make something like this. It looks absolutely wonderful. I do own Meerschaum pipes, some Turkish Meerschaum pipes, but I decided to stick with simple, smooth finish ones, just because if I broke something like this, I would feel very bad, and I just don't want to have that risk in my life. But I do know that many people prefer carving on their pipes. They do look more beautiful. They look rich, rich in detail. They look just better, and it's a class higher pipe. I do understand that. The only thing on this pipe which separates it from mint condition with some barely visible signs of wear or use is the dent found on stem, as you can see. I guess it occurred during production. I said, Carver makes the block Meerschaum pipe stems. Sometimes they make their own. Sometimes they hire people to make them for them based on measurements and the design they want. So I can say that this is the carver's mistake. Why they decided not to make another stem after they saw the dent, I don't know. Maybe someone scratched it, between when pipe was made and before it came to me, of course. But that's the only sign of use or wear on this pipe. Of course, it's unfiltered. This acrylic stem is semi-transparent. And whole pipe, I have to say again, very beautiful. You will be the first one to smoke it and color it. I just can't imagine how good it's gonna look when it does get some color. So there you go. Let me just place it on the stand again, if I remember how to do that right. Something like that. And let's move on to the second one. By the way, before I start with the second one, the first one actually sits. It's not a perfectly flat surface, but it can actually sit like this, which is very practical, and I just realized that, as you can see. So it's a sitter as well. I'm gonna add that to the listing. I really didn't notice that. Now, the second one won't sit on a stand, and those little metal stands, the usual ones, You can't use this as well because I'm afraid that the metal is gonna damage the block Meerschaum. So I just placed it like this. This one, again, I'm just gonna start showing it around. Carving on this one or bowl itself feels much chunkier. This also, I just noticed a few minutes ago that there's a small, it doesn't look like a chip, but it might be on the hat here. Might be a small damage. Um, bowl feels a bit more massive, and it's wider and thicker. So beside not being able to sit on a stand or anything else because of its weird looking chin, it's also heavier on the frontal part, so it sort of leans forward if you use some sort of stand that requires pipe to be balanced. This one won't sit on it as well because frontal part is so heavy. As with the first pipe, you can unscrew this little part from the stummel. No need for that actually, you can just go the opposite way and pull it out like this. This one has no damages on stem. I just showed you the small possible chip on its head, but otherwise it's in mint condition with some barely visible signs of wear or maybe aging. Not as long as the first one, a bit shorter, but definitely feels more massive simply because bowl is just so thick and wide. Beautiful carving again with this one, a bit different face carving on this one, and details look amazing. Again, deep chamber, not the widest, but very deep. Just to show you how these two compare in size. Fairly similar, but as you can see, well, you can read it with the measurements on the listing. It's maybe a centimeter and a half longer, this one, the first one, but I don't know, feeling in the hand is the second one being bigger, even though if it's not actually, but it definitely feels like that. So that would be all for this not that short of a video, but I hope I showed everything you wanted to see with these two unsmoked Meerschaums. Great quality pipes, great feel in the hand, and again very great, great look overall with the details in the carving. That's all for this short presentation. Not so short, but okay. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.